So the clock is ticking. We have finished day 4. Yeah, as you can tell, I'm looking pretty tired. And that's a true impression because today has been a very, very long one in the sense that we have done so much. I truly feel like, because of this really long 16-hour day, sometime by the day it finishes, it's genuinely feel like we've had 2 day packed into one, and the arc of the days unfolding and the event feels sometimes so complicated because you're so intentionally trying to do a lot to change yourself. And I'm starting to grasp the reason why people do create these super transformative change in Joe Dispenza's meditation retreat, because there is this repeated and very strong emphasis that in order to create change, any change, I think a lot of people here are trying to heal their physical conditions. A lot of them are trying to heal psychological conditions, change the way they looked at things, they perceive things for many years, sometimes decades, or to change the body in a way that traditional medicine would tell them is impossible. So in addition to having to overcome their bodily condition, they also have to overcome their conventional beliefs. So it is a very tall order. A lot of the things that people are trying to achieve here. But, well, it's certainly not easy, right? But people are doing it, and it is pretty incredible, right? Like, so there are other people who are here to try to create wealth and this or exponential spiritual advancement, mystical experiences, and these are all happening because of this emphasis. So the way I've understood it now is that in order to change, in order to create anything, we have to shift ourselves. And by shifting or changing ourselves, I mean we literally have to change out of our default mode. Our old personality has to be completely gone. Well, I suppose in proportion to the change that we're trying to create and produce, and the more ambitious that change is, to the worldly and relative and human sense, not in the divine sense, because to the divine, everything is energy, and change is therefore equally easy. But from the human perspective, in order to change what we perceive or normally perceive to be impossible or difficult, it takes a lot, because what we are indeed overcoming isn't the reality. Often the reality of the issue that we're trying to change. For example, if someone has cancer, right? They're not trying to change, what they're really, really changing isn't the cancer cell, although that when healing occurs, that's usually a byproduct. But what they're really changing, from what I've understood in the last few days, is themselves, like the whole physical, psychological, spiritual being. And how do we do that, right? In order to do that, I have come to understand that people do need to change everything that they are about themselves, especially those habits, the behaviors, the thoughts and the feelings and the response to things, and the way they look at things, and all the way to the substance of consciousness have to alter, have to shift out of the habitual way, in order for them to, and I'll talk a little bit about this later, in order for them to go into the void, into the emptiness. So first of all, we need to understand what are the things that are slowing us down, right? What are the things that are creating emotions that are unwholesome? For example, like the fear, the anger, the guilt, the shame, the pain and the jealousy and the loneliness, etc. So these are usually deep-seated emotional experiences with well-established meanings be attached to them, and the stuff that we do about them, right? The urges, the cravings, the aversions. So, and we're not just talking about the big stuff, right? Like, not saying that if you have addiction, then you need to change it. Of course, that's, essential. But we're also talking about if we are worrying, for example. If you are trying to heal the condition, are you actually doing too much, relying on too much health habits, including those which are ostensibly healthy ones, because that create a bit of a cage of safety and is signaling the cells in our body and the genes in our body that we are not yet safe and we are not able to change, because we have to hold on to whatever we know in order to survive the situations. So to let go of these things, it's to let go into the unknown. And for me, my primary objective is, of course, to heal my heart, right? Of this congenital heart thing. That I'm not even going to call it a condition now, because it's just an experience that I'm having, and I'm not really seeing it as a fixed thing anymore, because I've seen changes, right? Like from all my scans, and that actually the part that is conventionally considered abnormal is actually reverting back into normalcy, right? Which is extremely encouraging, even before this retreat started, because of all the work I believe that I've been doing, right? So for the tests and scans, I am actually sort of reverting back to normalcy. But that's conventionally perceived to be impossible, right? Or the doctor would deny the existing of such things. They don't consider it, even though the evidence is showing that it is happening. They try to dismiss that, even though that's a huge margin, right, of change. Try to dismiss that as measurement error, but I just know it's impossible, because multiple methodologies it's just not the most sensible explanations. And I'm not taking it as such, right? I'm seeing the change as real changes. But I know what effort I have put into it. So today has been quite hard, because at the beginning of the day, since the beginning of the day, we started at 5:30, by sunrise, morning walking meditation. We're walking up and down the beach for about an hour and a half, trying to really walk through the stages. And for me, it was once again about really holding my energy in, despite all the distraction or the other part of myself to want to lose my concentration, my presence, my to worries, to fear of not getting the right attention, the fear of positive changes happening not fast enough, or time being wasted, or all that kind of stuff. I am mastering. I think day 4, because we've been doing it so constantly. Every waking minute of the day, we're being told that we must change, we must change. I'm mastering it now to a degree where I am starting to see the old pain of deprivation of love. That thing that I started experiencing since my childhood is, at least within the condition of this week, it feels like it is shedding its layers. Pretty impressive, actually. And how do I know that? I know that because these days when I'm walking around the place, feeling the old emotions, I no longer have the same level of urges to actually act out on them. That is incredible, because I've been to so many. I've worked on it for like years and years and years, and it is great. And the result of that is, because I have less difficult emotions, I'm able to score more victory over them as the minute goes